All right, there's a reason for having two sanders. So if your wife ever tells you that you don't need two of something, two of every tool there is, there's a good reason for having two sanders. I bought this one. I purchased this one not too long ago. Of course, I see my caddies I built for them. Got a Ryobi sander here, and I got a DeWalt sander here. Now, the reason why I bought this one was because it was on sale for like 59 bucks off Amazon. Um, um, they're both about the same power. They both put out about the same power. They're both electric. I don't like to use battery operated sanders because they're not as powerful to do big jobs like these, sanding table legs and braces. But the reason why I bought another sander is in case this one ever goes bad. Number one, I've had it for a long time. I have a backup, but I do use both of them quite often at the same time. My main reason is too because when I first sand legs to a table or coffee table, nightstand, or whatever, anything I sand, I use a 60 or 80 grit sandpaper first to sand. So that's on this one. On this one, I go back to a 120 and I sand back over what I've sanded already to give it the final smooth touch. And a reason for two sanders, so you let everybody know this, that always tells you why do you have two of something. Instead of having to always pull the paper off this one to change it to the 120 grit, keep going back and forth, because after a while it will wear the Velcro out on behind the pad, number one, and on the main pad of the sander. So I don't change the sander pads anymore unless this one's completely wore out. But this one is about wore out, so I'm going to change it. But instead of having to swap sanding disc back and forth, I just keep the 80 or 60 grit on this one, use it as a first sanding process, come behind it with the 120. That way I can leave this little pad on that one all the time too. That way I'm not always swapping these things because, like I said, the more you pull them off, the more you put them on, it wears out the Velcro behind it. So they start flying off. But that's the best reason to have two different sanders, not only for one for a backup, but one for 60 grit only, 120 grit. Keep you from having to switch back and forth.